Okay, so we're going to be talking about power dynamics in relationships. We're talking a hell of a lot more serious, not surface level conversation, so it don't lend itself to be playful because it's not a playful conversation.
The other production side of the team, no, they treat us differently just because, like you said, I can't answer a lot of their questions.
I'm just addressing your point because
No, I know, but I agree with you.
But what I'm saying is, you said no, you're serious and you're always serious. No, I'm serious when I need to be serious. Closer relationships than you
Y'all
have
can
with
have
them.
closer, but I'm just saying.
Well, you said no.
When you said I love you,
I'm friendly and nice, and
I'm friendly and nice, and the guy
first salesperson, I was absolutely closer to
that used to piss me off.
More
So you probably
him.
were closer
than you.
all the way, because I.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about power dynamics in relationships. That seems to be a topic everybody wants to talk about, especially when people are working together, living together, and couples are having businesses together. And we've been doing it for a while now, successfully, I'd say. A lot of bumps and bruises along the way, but
Bumps and bruises by her when she get out of line. Got a bumper or a bruiser, but we're willing to share.
in any event, because I'm the attorney, but I think in more traditional gender role relationships, people expect men to take the lead or to be the person that is at the head of what's happening. And our situation, I guess, in some ways it's more traditional. In a lot of ways, it's not traditional. It's just what happens to work for Tessie and Charles. So this may not be for everybody. It may not apply to most. It's just our version of how we deal with the power dynamics in our relationship. Um,
I'm not always the most organized person, so sometimes it requires for Tessie to take the lead or prompt me to continue to commit to my part of the bargain. So it's I don't know. Sometimes people will think of that as a power dynamic or a struggle, or there's different ways to view it. Um,
yes, but sometimes he means every day, every day, every day,
wow.
and every day. I am and try to be a very organized person,
And
and
I am not.
Charles is not organized. So he will ask me to remind him. But again, behind the scenes, people don't know that. So me reminding him and telling him what to do may look like a power move on some people's point. But one of the questions that we were asked that I really want to dive into is, how does one person avoid being the boss in our business, at the firm?
I think that goes back to like some of the previous episode though that we had talked about of not keeping score. Sometimes I think people will get caught up in the, well, you made the last decision or you did. You're keeping score. It's knowing that person's strengths and weaknesses. So I think some of that
I
goes
th-
into that.
it does. But when we're talking about how do you avoid being the boss, and this is probably going to be very unpopular for a lot of people, I don't think that they're in reality, we share a lot of responsibilities, but there is no, in my mind, and so we're going to have a very real conversation about this. I don't think that we have a power dynamic about who's the boss when it comes to the firm. When it comes to things at the firm, majority of the things that are done and the decisions that are made in the firm, well, the last decision will be my decision. It is my decision because it is my law firm, and I'm the attorney, and Charles legally can't own a law firm, and he's not an attorney in the state of Georgia. He cannot. And so it's my firm, it's my decision, it's my vision, it's what I want to do for the firm. Can I operate that firm without Charles? Not at the level that it is, no. Um, is he an integral part of helping grow the firm? Absolutely. Do we share in the decisions? Absolutely. And are there things that he take the lead on that I defer to him? Absolutely.
Honestly speaking, though, I think the type of person that my wife is, she always tries to make things fair. So if it wasn't, if her personality wasn't that way, then it wouldn't be an absolutely. It could be more of a just a I. She tries to include me in those decisions. She tries to make sure that I'm inserted in those meetings. So that is a difference of, I guess, the person that you're with on how that looks.
Yes, that's funny because I know that you don't always want to be in those meetings.
But I mean, for me personally, sometimes it is frustrating. Just being candid, like I know that the final decision is on her, and it's her firm, and at at times it's frustrating on my part. But um, knowing the rules and her being an attorney and I'm not, I can't let my ego get in the way of our business doing well because I wanted to be the one that decided who that person was going to get hired, or I wanted to be the it's for me, just my person. It's not that serious for me.
Mhm.
Now, for the next person, that's the I guess he might say I'm the man's man and I'm a lead and I'm gonna do all this. You can't lead if you don't know what you're talking about or where you're going. So I mean, some of it is just being realistic with who you are and where you're at.
You are a very laid back person. And I think for us, our personalities really truly lend. Our personalities lend
Themselves to work
well
together.
for us to work together because we're so different. I'm a very organized person. I want to know all the questions and all the information and all the details so that I can make a very informed decision. And it's still just a guess most of the time, but I want to know all the pieces and as much as I can know before making a decision. Charles is more of a I'm going to hear things out and make a decision based on gut feeling, common sense, his plan for our marriage. Some of my decisions in the firm have nothing to do with our relationship. And it takes a lot of
I keep
intention
hearing discourse
and
online that I'm
dedication
getting really
to
tired of.
separate
I
the
keep
two. And I
hearing,
have to
what are we
remind
gonna do
him
about ICE?
sometimes too.
What are we gonna
I'm not talking about our marriage. I'm talking about the business. I'm talking about the firm. There are times where you remind me, turn it off. I don't want to hear it. It's late. Let's turn it off. I don't want to talk about that now. So trying to stay in those lanes and let each other lead when the situation will dictate who needs to lead, not just because my name is on the door. When you have an executive board, everybody has a role. The CEO is the person that strategizes and comes up with the plan. You're the chief growth officer because you know a hell of a lot more about marketing than I do. And so that's your lane. There's nothing for me to strategize about if there's no marketing to make the business keep growing. It's like if you want to say who's the boss, I can be, you know, I was a diehard Colts fan. I can be Peyton Manning. I can be I can be Peyton Manning and be a quarterback, but it's nothing if I don't have Harrison. If I don't have a good quarterback or a good running back or a good receiver, somebody to throw the ball to, the best plan in the world doesn't work if you don't have a team, and you have to have key people on that team, not just one or two, but you have to have a great team. You have to have a great team. And so I don't
But if you have the authority to change the play,
mhm.
then I would say that lends itself to be a boss, not trying to, just in talking about the
Mhm.
topic that we're on.
I
If I have
do.
the final say is usually the person that is the boss.
But because I'm the boss, I have to know a little bit about marketing and sales and the hiring and the systems and the factory and all the other different parts. Because you're the chief growth officer, the amount of time that you put into marketing far exceeds what I do. Like you're a specialist and I'm a generalist. I generally know about every section of the firm and you specialize in one section. I could not put you in charge of production, which is the attorneys and the paralegals, because you don't know anything about that section of it. If I were to say, Charles, you need to figure out the hiring plan for 2026. What are we doing for the hiring plan right now in 2026? We're already in 2026. It wasn't you didn't take into consideration or it dictate any planning for the hiring, for the processes, for the systems, for the strategic growth, any of that stuff, because you're a specialist over here in this lane. It's like a heart doctor. Like you're a heart doctor and I run the operating room. You can specialize in hearts. Somebody else specializes in lungs. Somebody else specializes in the brain. I have to know how to run the whole damn hospital, all the way down to who's going to be cooking in the cafeteria to make sure that all the patients eat. And so it's a difference. But even if the brain is optimal, if the heart don't work and we're still dead. So I might be the one to call the last shot, But as the brain, I have to know a little bit about and send signals to the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, all of it. And so, yes, I do know a little bit about all of it. And if I left the firm, there is no firm. You can leave the firm. I cannot leave the firm.
Tell him. Girl, I love you. Look at she's so smart.
I'm just saying I can't leave. Like, my name is on the door. I can't, if I leave the firm, unless I sell it to someone else, I can operate it without you. You cannot operate it without me legally. And it's all I know. It's all I've done for 20 years. And so I'm up and I'm focused and I'm learning all the plays and all the moves and all the whatever. I have to know all the seven parts of the business well enough to hold that line should one of them fall. And you specialize between marketing and sales, but I have to know all of them.
So then, how do you avoid one person becoming the boss?
Being Let go of your need to be right. Let go of your need to be in charge. Understand that you need a team around you and lean into somebody else's talent. I can be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And that is what I am. I'm not a master of any of it. I know enough about all of them to keep all the balls in the air, but I'm not specialized in any one part of it other than an attorney. And since I focused on running and scaling and growing the firm, I'm barely even in the courtroom unless I'm covering for another attorney. So again, I avoid getting caught up in that boss complex and boss title because I know how important every person on the team, that book that I was telling you that I was reading, the Who's Not How, or the How Not Who. I am very, very focused on hiring the right who to do the job, not learning how to do the job. And that is how you grow your business. That is how you scale your business. This is a conversation I was just having with Daryl about an hour ago during our lunch break. It is very important if you're going to lead any type of team, leader, boss, whatever you want to call it, but to lead, grow, and scale a team, you have to make sure that you are open to collaboration and that you're hiring the right who's instead of trying to learn how to do everything. And so I have no interest in being an expert at everything. And I love that you are the yin to the yang that keeps it all calm and tell me when to calm down and put it down. You're going to implode. You need to not work. You're overthinking it. And on the other side, I'm telling you, okay, Charles, we got to focus on this and focus on that. And that balance back and forth. I am acutely aware that this works well the way that it does because it's the two of us. And I have no interest in doing it by myself. Like, it's really, really tiring. The Where we are and where we've scaled the business is because it was the both of us. Because I happen to have a license, some of the decisions are mine. And because of how we think, like I multitask, not multitask, but I can focus on different projects easier than you because I don't have ADD. I have the polar opposite. I have the
Opposite of whatever it is.
I have that
Tunnel
serious.
vision on multiple things at one time.
Well, it is
With
how
no
you
cutoff
are
game.
a high school dropout and a teen mom, and you go to law school with 5 kids and graduate on time and pass the bar the first time. That ability to laser focus is a blessing and a gift that I've been giving, to focus with precision and discernment on what I need to do to get where I want. And those gifts allow me to lead and grow and scale without getting caught up in who's the boss. Because in a perfect world, I could literally step away and be on the beach and go into the office where I'm the boss once a month, once every other month. I don't have to be there. I don't need anybody. It's more of a distraction to walk into the office.
This is a precursor for stay tuned. You're gonna be going to the beach and to the lake, and then coming to the office. About talking to this thing once a month.
As we are growing and scaling and hiring a COO and hiring a leadership team, it will require my presence in the office less and less. Yes, by design. absolutely by design. When we are scaling and we're well into an 8-figure firm, meaning 10 million plus, why would I be in the office every day? The best use of my time would be developing strategy and collaborations and just different projects, more community involvement, writing books, speaking engagements, that type of thing. And so as we evolve, we evolve. As we grow, we evolve. And so what I'm doing now, what I did to get here, I won't be doing to get to the next step. But again, that's the strategy. I see so clearly what we're going to be doing in 2027 to get to these things and to make these marks now. Again, the strategy is where I dwell. That is my sweet spot. Developing the strategy and implementing the strategy is truly my gift.
Do you think that you are naturally this way, or were there books that help with your progression, or is it a combination?
I think it's more. I think it came to me more natural just because of how I was raised and being raised. And you already know this, but being raised by a single mom who was gone a lot for different reasons, I was left in charge. Even though I'm number four of my mom's five children, there were a significant time in our life inside our house. I was the oldest, and I had a younger brother and two younger cousins that I was in charge of, and my mom's mentally disabled brother that she had custody of, who has the mindset of probably a 7-year old. And I'm 12 and I'm in charge of these four people. It was my responsibility to make sure homework was done and the house was clean and they ate dinner and they stayed out of trouble and all of that. So I had to literally make sure that I took care of things in a way that we were okay. If I didn't go to the store, we would not have dinner. And that was back when, we had food stamps. It was a paper book and you had the colors and stuff. My mom would leave and give me a book. Here's this $65 book, and I'll be back in a few days. And you gotta plan a meal plan for the week to make this $65 stretch for me and them. And I had to make sure they got up and got on the bus on time. I had to make sure that we did the things. If she left money and said, go pay on this light bill, okay, well, where are you going to be where I'm going? Am I taking y'all with the, are you taking, am I going to take you with me? Are you going to walk with me to go pay this light bill? Like, I had to develop that young. If I didn't eat, if I didn't plan on a way to eat, digging in garbage cans for bottles to sell or cans to sell, or hell, digging in a garbage can to get Little Debbie snack cakes because the grocery store threw them away, or whatever. Growing up in an environment where you had to strategically think about how to be okay put me in a position now where it's second nature and I'm always thinking about what my next step is.
Are you able to turn that off, or is that something that is always there that you can't turn off?
It's not, I don't know that I can turn it off. I've never tried to turn it off. I've never wanted to turn it off.
But if you're always feeling like you have to come up with a plan and know what the next move is, in the I guess the dynamic of your working in a team,
Mm.
you're always, I guess, feeling like you need to lead.
I don't feel like the first part of that, I don't feel like I have to come up with, always feel like I have to come up with a plan. I've never felt like like as an adult, at least in many, many years, I haven't felt like I had to come up with a plan. I feel grateful that I am always able to come up with a plan. I don't see it as a negative, and I don't feel like I have to lead. Naturally, when I step in a room and we're talking to people, I lead. And it's not because I choose to. It's not because I raise my hand and say I want to lead. For whatever reason, when I'm talking to people, I find that people are more naturally drawn to me. And that I am more of an introvert, which surprises people because I don't have a problem having a conversation. But I'm not the type of person that's going to walk up to you and go, hi, I'm Tessie. No, how are you doing? Like, if I go to a networking event, I will sit down at a table, whip my phone, doodle, do everything to avoid people. Now, if you come up to me and talk to me, oh, we'll have a conversation all day. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not this extroverted. Hi, I'm Tessie. How are you doing? How are you doing? Meeting people. I don't feel like I need to lead. I feel like when I have a conversation with people, if we walk in the room, if we're working on something, when we start talking, people naturally seem to look at me to lead in a lot of the situations that I'm in. Not every situation, but most.
So how do you handle? I guess another question is, how do you handle feedback without hurting feelings?
Well, I will say as I've gotten older, I've had to work on my delivery, as you say all the time. When I was younger, I used to think if it was the truth, it's the truth. You know, truth hurts. Blah blah blah. All these little smart comebacks. The truth hurt. It hurt. Whatever. But you got to be a little bit more responsible and a little bit more intentional about the effect of your delivery. It's something that I work on all the time because I will tell myself, and it's reckless, but I will tell myself I don't have time to sugarcoat things for people. And I'm just going to say what it is. Let's get to it. Straight. No chaser. But as I get older, I'm in a season of my life now where I want what I'm saying to land differently. And I have developed a care for that more probably in the last 12 months than I've ever cared about it in my life. But I don't want to um
What does that look like in a relationship? Ours, particularly.
well, what does it look like to you?
You're working on it.
That's what I'm saying. It's I've never really wanted to work on it before. It was just kind of it is what it is. But
We're further along than where we started, but and I may be I may do that too. And sometimes the way that I say things might be a little rough.
I
So
don't
I don't
think the way
know.
you say things are rough. I think the way that you say things
Or a
sometimes,
suggestion.
well, that's two different things. I do feel like you talk in suggestion. You ask questions instead of making statements. And so when we're talking to our team again, and this is one of those examples when I'm talking about leading, if I come in the room and say, okay, this is what needs to be done. If I come in the room and say, hey, Fred, I need you to do this, do this, do this. Can you give it back to me by this date? That's it. You hear me? You understand? You have any questions and, whatever. And I walk out the room. The conversation is over. You will go in and you will suggest, well, maybe we could do this. And you use words like maybe and probably and so on and so forth. No, 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 no. If I need you to do something, I'm going to come in and tell you to do things. Between us, when we're in the office, we'll go in the office and within an hour or two of you coming in the door, people have given you assignments to do. Charles, could you do this? Could you help me with that? Charles, could you do this? When you get a chance, can you do this? Nobody's coming in off. No one's asking me to do anything. No one's asking me to do things. They're coming behind me asking me questions. Attorney Hours, can you do this? I need you to answer this question or solve this thing, but you're not asking me to go do something for you. Can you approve this thing that they've done? You don't delegate. You say stuff and suggestions that the person on the receiving end believe that it's an option. Like, if you get around to it, could you possibly do this for me, please? Instead of you saying, I need these two reports by 5. And I can articulate why I want it and what I need it for. If the question was asked, I'm going to follow up and ask if they have any questions and try to make sure that the communication is clear. With your communication, you will say things. I don't even talk about you talking in suggestions. I'm saying you will say things unintentionally that people who don't know you don't know what you mean. And so when we're talking, I'll say, Daryl, what did you think Charles meant? Oh, he meant this. And then you go, no. And I said, that's not what I meant at all. And I'm saying, oh, I knew that. I know I can see by his face and hearing what you're saying how he received it. But you will make comments or say things that you understand the backstory to it, but you just say the words without giving the backstory. And then the person who's receiving it, who don't know the backstory, is confused or they have a different impression of what you meant because they didn't know your backstory.
Mm.
You said,
That's all I got.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you think that our employees treat one of us differently than the other person?
Maybe, probably, probably. Just think about it.
What makes you think that?
I'm trying to think of a how to answer this, but you're a lot more serious than me, and
There's an
and
answer. That's a whole answer.
and in that seriousness, I mean, all I can think of is that saying: "If you play with a dog, you're gonna get licked in the mouth." It's a is that how that saying
That
is?
is the same, but I don't understand the correlation.
Meaning, I don't think
More
you
like if you
joke.
play with fire, you're gonna get burnt.
I don't think you usually are a lot more straightforward with them. It's less. Um, I don't know if joking is the word, but usually it's okay. I'm telling you, I need this, and this done. Do you understand? No, you don't. I'll show you. All right, next. And it's you're a lot more serious with them, I think, than I am.
Hmm. I agree. I'm a lot more serious, but I feel like when it's time to be serious, oh, I'm absolutely serious and absolutely focused with a strategy, a plan, follow up, and I'm prepared for whatever their questions are. On the same side of that, I don't feel like the team comes to you and asks you anything that is serious issues. You deal with our marketing vendors, but the majority of the team is not going to come to you and ask you the questions that they ask me. You don't have to deal with the questions that they ask me. They, like I said, you come in and they'll ask you, "Hey, Charles, can you help me with my printer? It's not working." Of course, you can joke about that. When I'm talking to them and this is not done and the client's complain about this or a judge has a question about this or these are the sales and these are these quotas, we're talking a hell of a lot more serious, not surface level conversation. So it don't lend itself to be playful because it's not a playful conversation.
I mean, I guess second thinking about it, the team that I deal with is a lot smaller, opposed to the production team, which is a lot larger, and I don't have as much to do with. I think the team that I deal with, I would say more they I would lean more to that they treat us the same. The other production side of the team, no, they treat us differently just because, like you said, I can't answer a lot of their questions, so it'll be small talk and passing, and I don't know how to tell you to fill out this document or what's needed. I can generally tell you some of it, but I don't know the answers to a lot of that.
On one side, I agree with what you're saying. On the other side, if we're as serious as I am, I would say in the last year alone, there are 4 or 5 different employees that are always, Attorney Edwards, I love you. I love you. And they believe that, and we have become friends and we're friendly and we talk about clothes and we are more friendly. I think I have a closer, more personal. I'm just addressing your point because
No, I know, but
you
I
said
agree with you.
but what I'm saying is you said, no, you're serious and you're always serious. No, I'm serious when I need to be serious. On the other side of that, I know more about their relationships and their children and their family. And here's Tessie with their bringing me gifts and cards and flowers, and we've become friends. And but when it is time for business, they understand that I absolutely mean it's
I
time for
and
business.
I agree with you. And those employees that are telling you that they love you and you're their great friend, those are females. I'm not even really trying to talk to you like that. So I'm not even gonna. It ain't even gonna be the same type of joking in the
I think
relationship.
I've been closer with our male employees than more than you
And
too.
they've been saying they love you too.
No, but we have
Oh,
closer
okay.
relationships than
But
you
y'all
have
can
with
have
them.
closer. But I'm just saying
Well, you said no. I'm more
when you said I love
I'm
you and that's
friendly
what
and nice and
I'm friendly and nice
okay
and the
and
guys you
distant.
may you some of that is true too. But I'm not the females that you're talking. We're not. That's a whole different lane. I'm not even trying to go there. They may look at us differently, and
Okay, but I'm saying our
I
first, without
digress.
saying names, our first dragon worked with you. Our first sales dragon, salesperson. I was absolutely closer to
That used to piss me off. So
more
you probably
him
were closer
than you.
all the way because I mm, wasn't
At
there.
any event, we back and forth, and I would still talk to him about sales the same way I talk to the
We were
current sales
cool.
team
We were.
now.
Well, you're a very nice, likable, approachable person. I mm, our involvement with them and the level that we deal with them, I guess, is different. So yeah, they're gonna treat us differently. Thinking about it and talking out loud, I have a lot more surface level conversations with them. where you're a lot more inviting, or the way that your
See, this is one of those
conversation flows.
examples. This is exactly the polar opposite of what you said 10 minutes ago. You said I'm a lot more warm and inviting. 10 minutes ago,
You are serious, but
you just said
I
you're more
did.
serious
I
and you're
did. And I said, and the more that we talk about it, I'm realizing, yeah, I'm having surface level conversation with you. I'm not, no, I can see that you're bothered. I'll ask you, are you okay? And I do truly mean, are you okay? But I'm not trying to get too involved with the reasoning behind it. I don't know how you politically correctly
it's
say.
not politically, I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm just saying that my leadership style, my communication style is not always serious. When I need to be serious, I am serious. And when I need to talk about KPIs and business, I think that the team respects when it is time to be serious. And they know when I ask them to do something that I expect it to be done and to a certain level. And it's not going to be a surface level conversation. And I am going to follow up. And it is going to be something we're going to have a conversation about. It's not surface level, it is all the way serious business, standing on business every time. And we can be friendly after that. I can be friendly, and it's going to go deeper than surface level on what I expect from you and on as I get to know you because we're working together a lot. Most of them have my cell number. Men and the men and the women have my cell number. If you need me, call me and we can talk and go have lunch. We can have a drink, all of that. But absolutely be clear that when it comes to getting this business done, it is all business.
And I guess as we talk about this conversation more, at work, no, I more or less view you as the boss. And it's maybe from the aspect of you have the final say. I think that in previous role at another at the fire department, it was different because I had more of those conversations. So it is a I don't really view myself as that. So if I don't view myself as that, I don't think other people are. So that is some of the answer in that question in itself.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the answer, I guess, more or less for me.
In that role, though, and I would agree with that. I don't think that you see yourself as a boss. I don't see, and that's just because that was the question. We don't really use the word boss a lot, actually. So it's I feel forced to keep trying to say boss because that was the question. But in deciding who's the boss and trying to,
You can change it with leader.
um,
But
being the
does that
boss,
change it?
being the leader, just being the person that's responsible, it doesn't feel like necessarily like a title belt, like I've won anything because I'm seen as the leader. Just think that my personality is such that I'm going to really focus on the way that you're, like you said, your conversations are more naturally surface level. I think your level of stress and planning and strategy is not surface level, but it's not executive level. Like you're not going to focus on it. The marketing you do, but the whole plan, not so much. And to the point that if I'm up at 5:30 here in this office, it's what I'm working on. And it's hard to sleep to 8:30 even if it's a weekend because I'm thinking and planning on the next step. And it's hard to turn it off in that way because I do feel a level of responsibility for the team, for all of the responsibility of the people on our team, which is, 20 people. We have salaries, we have expensive, we have the office rent, we have our mortgage, we have the things, and the level of responsibility that I feel is something that drives me, not even just that level of responsibility, but it's a drop in the bucket to where I want to go. So where I'm trying to get to drives me, but the responsibility that I feel to the team that we have that believe in us and they left jobs somewhere else because they believe in our vision. I don't take that lightly that they expect to get paid on time. You know, they expect when it's payday, their check is gonna clear. That I don't take that lightly at all, and I'm very serious about where I want to be financially. I'm very serious about what I want for us, for our generational wealth. And I don't think that you care so much. I don't think if we made another dollar more than what if we made the same amount of money this year that we made.
I don't.
No, I know you don't. That's what I'm saying. There's no pressure from you. You're like, oh, we could have stayed in the house we had on Warren Way. We could have been there forever. You'd be fine. Vacation could be let's get in a car and take a road trip. Like
I mean, you coming with me?
I am coming with
Then
you.
that's it.
Yeah, that's not enough for me though.
I don't need all those things. I
I
don't.
do.
But if you want them, let's go get them. But as far as you saying me wanting those things, not to the level that you
I
do.
do. We are very much again, and that's the thing that makes our partnership, marriage, partnership in business and our marriage work because you can very comfortably be you and I can very comfortably be me. Like I know you don't have any desire to see the world. You know that I do.
But that was different from a. I know that you do, and
Mhm.
you know why the reasons why I don't care to see the world.
Mhm.
But for the same reasons that it was, I want to have another child.
Mhm.
As
And I
long as
didn't.
and you didn't, but you were willing. So
And you
hey,
and you travel.
there it is. I mean, it's
Mhm.
two people that we have to consider in this. And this time I'm picking this trip, and next time you'll pick the next trip.
Mhm.
So
That's and I
it's
think about that. I want to travel, so we travel. I did not want another child. You did, so we have another child. I didn't want another dog. You wanted a dog, so we
I
have
didn't
another
want
dog.
grandbabies, but you did.
Yeah,
So
like it really goes back and forth. So in our life, there is no boss. It is just the in,
constant compromise.
the intention to leave space for the other person to be their selves as your true self. Like if I'm married to you, there's going to be a dog involved, and there's going to be an old school, and there's going to be some homemade cookies, and there's just some things that is being Charles
And
Edwards.
if
That
I'm going to be with you, there's going to be some seriousness. There's going to
that's
be some
right.
planning.
Mm.
There is going to be some direction, and I don't know is not an answer. So,
It's gonna be some travel. It's gonna be a lot more than just direction and planning. But there's things that are important to me, and there's things that are important to you. And
but with you, the old school get fixed. With me, it might take a couple years. There's going to be a plan put in place for that.
yeah, there's a
So,
plan. You got a Firebird. Let's get it fixed. Not sit in the garage for 20 years. Then what's the point of having it? But I just think that even as I sit in this seat as the boss, even though my name is on the door, I think that when we are together in public and in private, it's not a united front for everybody else. It's a united front even behind closed doors. There's an intention. There's an intentional leaving of space for the other person that you call compromising. And I know if there's a Bills game, something as simple as that, we're watching the Bills game. I'm not gonna argue back and forth about where we're going or what we're doing and vice versa. Like there's things that you just know about a person. If you love them, you know what's important to them. Something as simple as their favorite team and trying to be respectful. Pull you into my meetings for me to be the boss. Just say for me to be the boss, the name on the door, the leader. Every executive meeting that I have where executive level ownership meetings are going to be made, when you send me an invite, copy Charles on it because I want you to be at every one of those meetings. I don't make you come, but you're invited and strongly encouraged to come so that you can make the decisions with me.
I appreciate that.
Every decision when we're talking about, hey, you need to do this and do this so your team.
Even when it doesn't make sense, I appreciate where it's coming from. It took me a little bit longer to be in that place to appreciate it and understand where you're coming from. But I do appreciate you.
It is important to me how our team sees you and the respect that they give you, whether you ask it or not. Even with surface level, I'm avoiding you. They need to understand that this is a team. That hashtag that we have on social media, Team Edwards, it is a team. So it's really not my name is on the door and I strategize more. But when it comes to who's the boss, the who's the boss is a us. Because even if I'm the one that's verbalizing it, It's always after a conversation that we've had together, and I take what you say into consideration, and I just articulate it better.
And even though she takes it into consideration, she didn't ask me 57,011 ways. Why? How
Mm-hmm.
you gonna do that? Why is that? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's a good idea. You know what? That's actually a bad idea. To then turn around and, you know what, team? This is the idea that Charles came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? So you took me through all. Okay, I get it. You have to do the pros and the cons and
Of
weigh it.
course, I'm gonna do that. You're not gonna just throw some shit at the wall and we're just gonna be like, "Let's go
Yeah,
for it." No, you
I
have an
I
idea.
I
Be ready
get
to
it.
defend your position.
Yeah, but that's that Socratic
No,
method that you taking
that's
me
not a
through. That's
Socratic
what it be
method.
feeling like. You argue both sides, and you have me argue
That's
this.
not what Socratic method means, sir.
All right. Well, whatever the method is that you, what is it then? The
Well,
method that
that's what you're saying. The pros and cons. I want to argue both sides of the argument, but I do think that when you have a position, you need to be able to defend it. Don't just tell me it's raining outside. Yeah, I mean, you turn on the sprinkler and tell me it's raining. I want to know when you say it's raining. Some things that I know is in your wheelhouse and you know it down packed.
but you still want me to stand up and argue it.
Are you saying theoretically? I don't want you to stand. I don't care if you stand up and argue it.
not theoretically, but
I
I
want to
would.
know why. Just because it worked just because it worked last week don't mean it's going to work today. If you say I'm going to do this, okay, because we're not. Listen, we're not making $10 decisions. Sometimes we're making marketing decisions, and we're literally talking about thousands of dollars. No, sir, you're not going to just walk in the room and say, "Hey, I'm going to do A." Okay, well, why? What about B? Have you thought about C? What happens is this, and put in a contingency plan, and let's talk through it. No, I don't think that's a good idea. And then you defend it and say yes, and we argue back and forth. All the Okay, now make the and then make a decision. We're not making no $50,000, $200,000 decisions because you saw some shit on TikTok and then walk in the room and say, "Hey, let's try this." No, 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 we're not. No, we're not. It's gonna take a little bit more planning than that.
I plan more than that. You just broke it down to a different level than what I expected it to be.
And when you have to articulate it to a team, and when you're sitting in a leadership meeting and we're asking these same questions, and I'm asking you the details of it and as much information and the
That's where
assurances
the
that
team
you
part
have.
came in. I wanted you to help me come up with the details, but this was a great idea that I'm trying to iron out with you.
Well, if we're ironing out, then that means I have to ask you the questions, don't I?
Yeah, but you could have did a little more kid gloves and not been so aggressive.
Microphone. Don't understand what you're saying.
You could have did it with with less oomph on it. I just needed a
You said
little
I could
bit.
have did with
You
kid.
could have been
What?
like, you could have just said that's a good idea, but usually it just goes into the
No,
but.
it goes into tell me more.
That's how it be sounding.
That's exactly what it is. You think we should do that? Okay, why? Tell me more. I want to know. Tell me more. Why? Explain that. When, where, who, how much, how long. I need to know the details.
It's a work in progress, and we're getting there, as you can see in some of this, and some of it is my wife is very focused, and halfway through the argument, she started asking me so many questions, I lose focus of what it is, and I'm sure that frustrates her, but it
Sometimes.
it throws me off sometime, and he wasn't prepared. I was, but that question threw me for a loop, and if I knew what I was talking about and where I wanted to go, it shouldn't have. So I understand where she's coming from at
Or
times.
you use the tools that you have, like a calendar, a note taker, pen and pad, write down your questions and be prepared for the conversation.
But the great part is she knows my strengths and weaknesses, so she
I
knows I'm
do.
not going to use a calendar. I'm going to
But
lose
you
the
should know
note
your
taker.
strengths and weaknesses and be
Hmm?
prepared for them.
That's why I just come to you and start talking about it, and we'll figure it out then. You'll point out what, oh, yeah, I meant to tell you that. So it works out that, again, the strengths and the weaknesses that we come to the table with.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'll have that good idea, and she'll come and say, all right, well, we're going to need to do this. You need to think about this. Have you thought about that? It just, it at the end of the day, my biggest thing is knowing her intent and what she meant and where it was coming from, and we'll figure the rest of it out.
I think that your ideas are usually good. I just want you to have researched them a little bit more. Think them through. Let's talk about it so that we can make and it could be a great decision and we can add one more layer on it to make it a better decision or take one piece of it off to minimize the risk because we have a lot on the table. So it's a great idea, but part of that shared bossness, shared partnership is being to collaborate, being able to collaborate, talk through scenarios, not just with you, but even with the rest of our team, to come to the best decision. So that's how we make our best decisions, when we make them together and decide them together. I don't think there's any major decisions that I make on my own. And I am a lot more aware of who I am, how I sound, how I present when I walk in a room, and being a little bit more intentional with knowing when to stop talking. That was a bigger thing that I still work on, try to work on, to kind of fall back and give him his space. I don't have to have an opinion about every question. I don't have to have a comment about everything that you say. And so learning how to just let you have your moment and give you space to lead, because there's a lot of things that I really just don't care about, and I like to debate, but I have to be aware that I'm arguing just to argue, and not even meaning for it to be an argument in the negative way, but I'm debating. And sometimes you'll say that you just want to debate, don't you? And I'll just laugh and then I'll just stop. But I'm a lot
Knowing your
more aware of
person,
it. Yeah.
knowing your person, when I can recognize that she likes to debate and I'm able to grasp that in the exchange of whatever it is that we're discussing, it's fine. But in the times that I'm trying to make a serious point and she's taking it for sport, it can make the conversation sometimes go left because I don't pick up on that's where she is with it. So it's knowing your person, and the strengths and the weaknesses, and as we grow old together from that starting it as a young couple in a business and now have been doing it for a reasonable amount of time, some of those things I can see.
Hmm. But wrapping up the what we started talking about the boss and the power dynamics in the relationship, what would be? I like to ask you this at the end of the conversations about what are your takeaways, or what points do you have for someone else who is going to work together and have a business together? What would be your suggestion for people to pay attention to when they are trying to develop, I guess, roles? And there's going to be a power dynamic. There's going to be a shift in power, and one person has to lead sometimes, and the other one has to lead. Or is there going to be, this is the leader and I follow? What's your opinion about all of it collectively, sort of?
Um, all of it collectively is sometimes you can't let your ego get in the way. Um, I think that probably for men, it's going to be that's going to be more of the issue of she's leading and you're not, and your ego may get in the way. The other part is you pick and choose. Is it that serious? I mean, there are some times when if you feel that passionately or that hard fast on a stance, then you pick and choose. Some of the arguments that you
But
pick
not
with,
in the roles. I'm talking about being a boss. You can't pick and choose when to be a boss. I'm saying when you're trying to decide who's going to be the boss, and when it comes to being the boss, who's going to lead this team, when it comes to that, not who decides what area.
when you say who's going to lead this team, and I guess
Hmm.
for my clarification, there may be some days that you lead the team and other days that I lead the team.
Hmm.
And it's picking and choosing, and it may be a disagreement of what we're going to do with the team. And when I'm saying you need to pick and choose, is it something that you both are wanting the best out of the team? You're both trying to get into point A, and I have an idea of how it should be done, and you have an idea that how it should be done. Is it that serious that I need to be right now? Is that your ego talking, or is it, do you truly feel? And sometimes you may need to ask yourself which one is it? Do I really, is this a decision that I have to win? If it's overall a good decision for the greater good, so what?
But what if you feel like it is, and you feel strongly that we should go your way, and I feel strongly that it should come my way?
Well, then
How do we decide that?
we're gonna keep talking about it till I at least feel like that you understand what my point is. If I feel that the point that I'm trying to make, you understand my point, you may not agree with it and still feel that yours is the best one, and I feel like mine is a better one, but you at least understand where I'm coming from. then I'll have to concede to that. Is it that serious if we're going to finish the race and we're still going to get first place? You have to let go of your ego. It doesn't really. Sometimes you just have to let that go. I think that becomes an ego thing because if both scenarios are going to get us there, and we're going to have some kind of knockout drag out argument that then continues after we leave work, and now it's continuous with us at home just to say that I got the final say and I won. No, it's not that serious to me. So what is it? Is it an ego thing, or is that my choice or the decision that I'm making? Is that important? Is it? Is it really? And that's what I'm saying. Is that your ego, or is that the betterment for the overall good of the company? And that's something I think you need to ask yourself.
So I'm curious what you guys think. If you are having a situation in your relationship and you guys have a business together, what are your comments and feedback on how you handle power dynamics of working with your spouse? Sometimes we do um, have a difference of agreement and one of us will take the lead, like you're saying, and other times you have to fall back and let the other person take the lead. But how do you guys handle a power dynamic? Is it simply I'm the boss, so what I say go every time? Do you collaborate more? Do you specialize where I'm the boss in this area and someone is the boss in that area? How do you guys make your decisions? So we'd love to hear some feedback from you guys on how you navigate this power dynamic in your relationships when you work together and you're married or live together. Because I do agree, and it's how we have come as far. We collaborate and we take turns on who's going to take the lead. I'm better at strategy. Charles is better at logistics, but he specializes in marketing, and I may specialize in the production team. And so together we make a very strong team, but it's not necessarily a boss and a boss. It's truly more of a partnership. It's just that I like the strategy part of it. I like developing the plan, and he's very good at helping me carry it out with his strengths and my strategy. And that's how it comes together to reach where we are. But again, I really would like to hear what you guys have to say about how you handle the power dynamics in your relationship and in your businesses. So drop a comment, let us know, and I'd love to follow up on this topic for sure.
And I'm interested to hear what everybody has to say because it, again, is an ongoing thing, but I always like another perspective on how to look at it.
So like, follow, share, and let us know what you think. Talk to you soon.